What's going on, guys? So, I have a pretty juicy one for you today. This is not a hot take, although someone might feel that it is. So, I know it's super common for people to say, I'm focusing on myself. Or you see a lot of guys in like men's self improvement, self development content put down in the comments, focus on yourself, king. So I want to address this because I never said focus on yourself, king, although I used to answer people's questions. For example, when someone would say, "Oh, how's the gym going for you? Like, how's the fitness journey going?" I would say, "Oh, actually, I've really been focusing on myself. Like, I've been focusing on this thing with work and blah blah blah, that and that." And you basically throw up like sand or like a smoke screen to divert their attention to the conversation, and usually it works, right? So you can get away from that. And the reason that I did that, and the reason that I know a lot of other people do that, is because they're directing the attention away for the person asking and also for themselves too, because it's an area of their life that they're weak in. Now that's actually the craziest part, right? Is you're it's really not that crazy, I understand. Like you're dodging the thing that you're afraid of, or let's say you have an ego about it and you got mad about what I just said. Oh, I'm not afraid, bro. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Why do you keep avoiding it? At least you're uncomfortable with it. Like you don't really know what you're doing. Maybe it's been a long time. Maybe you just need some help, like some guidance, something to just like start getting out there, like getting in the field, experiencing something to build that skill. There's a reason that you're dodging and avoiding it, right? That's very clear. And I say that as someone who said it before. So I know where you're coming from. Okay? I know where you're coming from. And so rather than avoid it, you might have heard the saying, lean into discomfort. And there's a reason for that, because you're going to start growing. And people do this for everything, right? They say I'm focusing on myself or focus on yourself, king, because whatever, their fitness isn't going well, their finances or their career isn't going well, their social life or dating isn't going well, and so they avoid that thing. And it's like they sweep it under the rug. It's like in cartoons when like the character like cleans up the room and they put all the stuff in the closet and the closet's like bursting open or exploding. It's like that, right? And you can't keep avoiding that thing, right? Eventually you're going to have to face it. You're going to have to address it. So why not become friends with it? I know that's probably like a funny way of saying it. And only, it's a pretty popular show. So this is going to resonate with a certain number of people. But I used to watch the show Naruto, right? Great anime. And one of the things I realized after I watched the anime, which is kind of funny, is I hadn't even realized until the end, basically, because I was so wrapped up in the story, was Naruto had a demon inside of him, right? And he didn't want to face it for so long. And eventually, he became friends with the demon. And he became that much stronger. Because he actually faced it, because he actually attacked it head on, attack mode, being a savage. This guy, basically, I'm trying to relate this to you, right? I know it's a funny analogy, but if you become friends with this thing that you're uncomfortable with, if you lean into the fear, you lean into the discomfort, it's eventually going to become comfortable, right? And right now you're comfortable not succeeding at that particular thing, right? So it's funny that you're comfortable with the lack of success there, or comfortable being in fear, whatever it is. So you're staying over there, but actually the success, I forget the quote, but it's like the success that you seek lies in the thing that you've been avoiding, right? And all I'm trying to say is focus on yourself is kind of a joke, right? Because we're all focusing on ourselves. That's really like a cop-out, especially for conversation's sake. You know, and we should all be focusing on ourselves to improve all these things at once, and not just like one thing at a time. Like I understand like focusing your attention on less things, right, to level up, but there's really not that much to level up, right? I mean, if you really think about it, it kind of boils down to social life or dating, fitness, and then your finances, right? And we have time. Everybody says they don't have time. We have time in our days to address all of those, or at least in our week, right? To grow, get to that point. And I want you to think about this in terms of like a video game, right? Even if you don't play video games, you're probably going to get this analogy. So basically, there's certain games where like you're leveling up your character, right? And so think about it like you're leveling up your character in real life. And you've got like skills, right? Like your speed, your power, your defense. Now think about it in terms of what we just talked about, right? Like there's a lot of people that, for example, let's say we use the example of the 3, they just level up their career. So that's all the way up here. And then maybe their fitness and social life or dating is down in the gutter, in the trash, right? And you see that a lot, actually. Or maybe they're really fit and maybe dating's okay and then finances aren't great. Like you could basically switch all of these into random assortments, and there's a version of each person, right? And so obviously the best thing for you to do would be level up all of them at once, right? Now, will it take you longer? Maybe. Although there's no reason to leave one unaddressed, right? Because that's going to really cause a lot of struggle for you in the long run. You know, don't neglect your health. Obviously, become financially well off so that you can, 1, support yourself, 2, support your family. Like if they have anything that they need help with, like it's their health, maybe you can just do something nice for them. You can get people out of a bind, whatever it is, right? Like think about it that way. Like you can really help people if you sort the finances out. And then there's a lot of people who run into they have everything but the social life, right? And that's an issue too, because maybe they became a little bit like not good with socializing because they put it off, right? So they have everything else, and then the social life is just garbage. And don't be that person either, right? Now that's the other thing. Like go work on that. Don't leave it unaddressed, because if you handle, that's all I'm trying to say, is if you handle all of them, your life is going to be so much better. Of course, you're focusing on yourself. Now focus on that thing you've been avoiding too. You got this, man.